in the upcoming NFL draft. Now, I really did have my heart set and was planning on incorporating one more thing into the football segment, but alas, we will save it for next week's episode, or possibly the episode after that, when we'll definitely have more time for that football talk. But I wanted to revisit our preseason predictions. We're going to do that because we don't just make predictions here on Balls Deep and then not revisit them, not own them, not come back to them and see what we got wrong, what we got right, what we can learn, and things like that. So look for that next week or possibly the following week. But holy guacamole, we are done talking NFL football. Can you believe it? And I think we got a solid 30 minutes here. We can talk some hockey, some basketball, recap a little tennis, a little pro wrestling, and of course end the show with our Balls Deep thought of the day. So alright, it's going pretty good. Cool. Well, since my and possibly your Minnesota Wild were in action tonight in New York, let's go do some balls on ice where we talk a little hockey. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I was looking over and watching the game best I could, and we were up 2-0 in the first 10 minutes of the game on the road against a good team. Holy cow, this is great. Go Wild. And then the game ends 4-2 New York Rangers. Wild lose again. This team has got major problems, and it seems like this is just what we have to go through every year. It's just part of who we are as a team and as an organization. And we're really at a point with this team where there are no excuses other than just, well, this is what we do every year. Like, that's the only excuse we got left. We're not unhealthy. We don't have a lot of key pieces injured. It's not just one or two big name guys, who are underperforming. It is literally every aspect of the team is not playing well. And as Minnesota hockey fans, we go through this year after year after year after year. Now, I ask all of you that are Minnesota hockey fans, at what point is enough enough? At what point does somebody within this organization, I don't care who, just somebody within this organization, be held accountable for the shortcomings of this team that is supposed to have a lot of depth, a lot of talent, a lot of young talent, a lot of veteran talent, and should be competing for a home game in the first round of the playoffs, if not to go deeper into the playoffs for Lord Stanley's Cup. And we are nowhere near that. Currently, we are not even a playoff team anymore. Bum, bum, bum. That's right, the Minnesota Wild, if the hockey playoffs were to start today, aren't in the playoffs. And dang near everybody makes the playoffs in hockey. Like, it's pathetic. So, like I said, the question is, how soon is someone going to be held accountable for this? And then from there, who's held accountable? What is done about it? When it comes to the Wild, there are two things to be looking at from a fan standpoint, from a team standpoint. Either trades need to be made. Guys who have been underperforming need to be shipped out. Not new pieces that we're missing need to be acquired because, we don't have what we need and, we got to go get that missing piece. No. Any trades that come about here for the Wild before the trade deadline in the NHL should and will hopefully be a message to everyone in this organization and to this fan base that failure is not acceptable, and that those who consistently fail to do their job are going to be held accountable and, parted ways with. And that carries over to the other thing that needs to be done in addition to or instead of some trades is Coach Yo has got to go. Coach Yo's got to go. Coach Yo's got to go. Coach Yo's got to go. Man, as much as I like Mike Yo, as a person. He is abso-freaking-lutely freaking worthless as a freaking hockey freaking coach freaking. I mean, good lord, when it is the entire team that can't do anything right for elongated periods of time, when they have shown that they can be one of the best teams in hockey with the lineup they have, that's a coaching thing, man. When any time in any sport, when the whole team is failing to live up to its skill level and its expectations, it's not just on one or two players failing to execute and players. That's on the coach. It is the leader's job to be responsible for everyone. And it is how many years in a row do we need to climb out of a hole or dig a hole then to climb out of it before we expect different results? I said it last year, and I'm still saying it this year. Coach Yo's got to go. He is the primary number one problem. I'm not saying it's the be-all, fix-all, end-all. But he is clearly a problem. He is clearly holding us back as a franchise and has been doing so. And this is what I've been saying all along, and nobody wants to listen to me. So screw you people who don't want to listen to me. I've been telling you the whole time. I've been right the whole time. And now, maybe with one or two more unacceptable losses, we will finally get some change where we can correct what's wrong and move forward and get better and get closer to our goals as a team. And since I went on that rant and didn't even, propose a suggested solution or option, let me throw out my top name that should be on the trade block that we could get some value for, as well as not really lose a freaking thing. It would send the message, and I think it would accomplish a great deal, and that is defensiveman Matt Dumba. Yes, Matt Dumba is only 20 years old. Yes, Matt Dumba is a great scorer of the puck from the defensive position. Yes, Matt Dumba has good size and is very athletic. Having Matt Dumba on your team is like having Troy Williamson as one of your primary wide receivers on your football team. Oh, the guy's freaking fast. He can fly. He's got this one great skill set that we think we can use. Problem is he can't catch the ball, and he's a receiver, and that is the primary task that he is asked to do at his job. Same exact thing holds true for defenseman Matt Dumba. Dude can't play defense to freaking save a kitty in a burning building. I mean, it's freaking pathetic. What good is it doing your team to have a defenseman out there that cannot play defense? Somebody want to explain this to me? Granted, I'm just a mediocre hockey mind, but I would think that you would want your defensemen, your two defensemen, to be good at playing defense. And Matt Dumba is absolutely worthless at playing defense, and he always will be. He has no business being anything other than a third line power play, a third play and power play line goal scorer for a team that has plenty of other goal scorers and good defensemen, none of which are the case for the Minnesota Wild. So there you go. Trade Matt Dumba. I don't care that he's 20 and he's got all this potential. Dude's a defenseman who can't play defense. It's like holding on to a kicker that can freaking run great and throw great and catch great, but he struggles kicking the ball. What freaking good does that do you? My gosh. Come on. Let's pull our heads out of our freaking skates. Let's go. Come on, Wild. So again, your Minnesota Wild still stinking, now losers of 4 straight, coming out of the All-Star break, can't win a game, can't hold on to a lead. Absolutely pathetic, and it is not going to get any easier as their upcoming schedule has them on Saturday night at the St. Louis Blues, then hosting the Stars on the 9th, and the Capitals on the 11th, and the Bruins on the 13th. So hopefully in that homestand against two really freaking good teams, maybe they'll be able to find a win. But don't count on it. So things looking very bleak if you are a Minnesota hockey fan of the Wild. So let's take a quick look around the league in the NHL, and then we will move on to some balls dribble. Your number one team in the Western Conference, not just in the Central Division now, is the Chicago Blackhawks with a 3-point lead over the second place in this division and conference, Dallas Stars at 71 points. Then you've got the St. Louis Blues at 66 points, followed by the Pacific Division leading Kings at 65 points. Everyone else is in the 50s, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams kind of separating themselves from the pack currently in the Western Conference, followed by the best of the rest, which would be led by the Colorado Avalanche, who I told everybody was going to be better than a threat this year, as well as the San Jose Sharks. They both have 58 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be 6 of our 8 playoff teams. Your final 2 would be the Predators. And oh, look at that. The Minnesota Wild are, in fact, correct me, the Minnesota Wild are currently sitting in the 8th seed of the Western Conference playoffs. I stand corrected. However, the the Coyotes are only 1 point behind the Wild, and the Ducks are only 2 points behind the Wild, and the Canucks are 4 points behind the Wild. Over in the East, if anybody cares about that, we've got the first place Washington Capitals, who were actually my pick. Thank you, Poopykins hockey expert, for that great pick. Followed by the rest, basically. We got the Panthers, Florida Panthers in first place in the Atlantic. Are you kidding me? Holy cow, they got 67 points. They're the second best team in the Eastern Conference. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning after a rough start. They've got 60 points. Bruins got 60 points. Rangers have 61 points now after tonight. Your other playoff teams in the East would be, hold on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then your 6th seed, tied for the 6th seed, would be the Red Wings, the Islanders, and the Devils, all with 58 points. And then locked in at that 8th seed right now would be the Pittsburgh Penguins with 57 points. And, in case you're wondering, the worst team in all of hockey with a whopping 4-point lead on their next closest competition would be the Columbus Blue Jackets. So boom, there's your balls on ice. Now let's get it over to Balls Dribble, where we talk some hoops. And for Balls Dribble tonight, we are actually going to start in the world of college basketball, since I actually watched some of that game tonight as well, where we had my and possibly your immeasurably crappy Minnesota Gophers men's basketball team on the road taking on the Northwestern Wildcats, where they lost in very heartbreaking close fashion, 82-58. The Gophers are now 6-17 on the year. I believe they are still winless in the Big Ten season. Last I checked, they were 0-9 or 0-10. Perhaps they've gotten a win since then, but I'm pretty darn sure they haven't. A week or two ago against Purdue, they lost by 4 points. The crowd was ready to storm the court had they won. Purdue was ranked 21st in the country. When you win a game against the 21st ranked team in the country that's in your conference and you play every year and you're going to storm the court, that does not bode well for the state of your program. So if you're a college basketball fan of the men's Golden Gophers, sucks to be you. Do not be surprised if head coach Rich Pitino, who has done absolutely nothing here, is without a job here, at least in the near future. And now we quickly shift our focus to NBA basketball, starting with my and possibly your Minnesota Timberwolves. On Tuesday night this week, they lost a 4-pointer in LA to the Lakers, where Kobe went all nostalgic on everybody, dropping 38 points, his really first good, big, memorable game of this farewell season for him. Lakers win 119-115. The following night, they stay in LA to take on the Clippers on the second end of a back-to-back, and lo and behold, the Timberwolves won this game 108-102. I watched the vast majority of it. Could not believe it. As a Timberwolves fan, there is a lot, in my opinion, to be excited and encouraged about for this basketball team, both this season and moving forward. I mean, proof enough. Last year, the team won 15 games out of 82. This year, the team has played 51 games, and they have